Hi, all, and welcome to another episode of the Multifamily Masterclass. I'm Bart Diehl. Today I'm joined by two great guests, John Kobierowski and Heather Andrews, our regional property manager here at Neighborhood Ventures. This is a cool episode because we're going to get into some property updates of assets we're managing, operating right now. But just to dive right in, I want to talk about Ventron Country Club. Ventron Country Club is an asset we purchased in 2021. And last year, we got rezoning approval to convert Country Club from short-term rentals to long-term rentals. So that was a big win. Just looking for an update, what major milestones have we hit in the last quarter? And what are the key objectives moving forward?
There's a whole bunch of things going on there. First of all, we're managing ourselves, which the feedback loop is amazing because we have our own staff, our own maintenance people, our own manager on site, and we have a real strong feedback loop. So things get done quickly and better. Second thing that's pretty significant is, yes, we got the approvals. There's some work we have to do to the property to get the final clearance on that, and we struggled to get a few bids. Really surprised.
Yeah.
We have to put fire sprinklers in, which most people are like, oh my God, it's not a big deal. We got to have a company that does it.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find a company to do it. So we couldn't find a company that would retrofit because they're also busy building buildings, putting in sprinklers and stuff. We did find it. We went through. They probably contacted. Heather, you contacted a lot of them, probably 25 companies? Katie was doing it.
Yeah.
Probably 25 companies we contacted, which are the majority of ones in the Valley. We had 2 people show up on site, 2 companies come out, and 1 company gave us a bid. We're really happy with the company we got. They've been really responsive. They have submitted plans, the fire sprinkler plans, and we expect to have those approved in the next few weeks here. Everything will move pretty quickly from there. Fire sprinklers.
Awesome.
We're getting Google Fiber put in the property free of charge, so tenants can eventually convert them over where they have their own Google Fiber accounts.
That's awesome.
And then we're doing stuff like a new sign the city wants us to do, some covered parking, some other changes to the property. But all that stuff has to follow the fire sprinklers first.
Yeah. Great.
Yep. And then beyond that, occupancy, very strong.
Yep.
Rents up,
Yep.
fairly stable.
Really good job with that.
Yeah. We got our mailboxes that we've had there for a while. Finally the guy, this is another one of those funny stories, the one guy in the state who rekeys the back key to the mailbox finally came out and did it. So now the tenants can actually get mail there instead of having to go to the office.
Wow.
And that was some of the big challenges when we switched with this zoning being approved, is we could now sign long-term leases. So changing a lot of people over from month to month to long-term, and that turnover that comes with that as well. And that's been really successful. We have, I don't believe, any more month to month. Everyone's on a lease. And we've also have a higher quality of tenant, someone who's invested is going to stay long term with higher rents, better security deposits.
Right.
So that's been really positive.
So what do tenants love about the property?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very much resort style kind of living, which it's our guys did a beautiful job converting it. And so there's lots of space for people to really enjoy themselves. We have a big area with the pool and the grill and the barbecue. So people spend a lot of time out there. All utilities are included, including the internet. That's a big help to people just to have that all taken care of. We have a really excellent property manager there. She lives on site. She works on site, and she takes good care of them. She's really focused on tenant retention. So there's people feel very, I think, invested in that. So we have some really good connections with our residents there.
So I want to talk about just rents and expectations moving forward. So we know there's a drop off in new supply of units starting this year. Are we seeing any shifts in the market?
Yes. Well, I'll let Heather talk about our property specific. I'll tell you big picture, what we saw happening on our properties 4 or 5 months ago, maybe as early as 4 or 5 months ago. Now we're starting to see it in the news in our industry about rents stabilizing, rents occupancy stabilizing. That we don't have enough housing, which we've known for a while.
Yeah.
We just had a lot coming out right up after COVID. I've said it before. By December of 25, we're gonna have good rents again. And I think we're going to continue to start seeing. We haven't had real rent increases in our market for 2 years, but we also haven't had a big drop off. We had concessions that people had to give, but
And that's, I'd say, the big change where we've been able to push rents a little bit, but also we're not having to offer the same concessions, and that is a big gain, isn't it? Because a lot of times it's the first month free or We're not needing to do that anymore. We have less turnover. We have higher occupancy.
And credit to you and your team, we have tenant referrals,
We have
which
really
has never
strong,
happened before.
really strong resident referrals, because we really want people to feel like this is their home, this is their community. We want them to stay. We want them to bring their friends and family around. And one thing I've really loved is because we have such a diverse portfolio, is our residents have transferred between properties as their
Right.
lives have changed.
Right.
And so we've had a lot of that that's been really
Up and
successful.
down. People that are two roommates weren't getting along, were in a
Yeah.
2-bedroom. One of them leaves,
Yeah.
one of them transfers to one of our other properties with a 1-bedroom.
Or
I mean,
their
that's
family grows, or whether you're downsizing or upsizing, we can work with you, and so that's been really good. They want to stick with us,
Right.
and we can find a place for them.
Yeah, no, that's all good stuff. I do want to pivot a little bit and talk about our only commercial asset, our retail asset venture on Broadway.
right.
So just give a quick summary to date. We've been looking for a tenant to fill that third space, and we have finally secured a third tenant. So what are the major...
Two of them.
Yeah, two tenants for that third space.
Celebration.
Yeah, huge celebration. What are some of the major milestones, that we just accomplished? And also moving forward, what can we expect with Broadway?
Yeah. So I understand retail. Many years ago, I was a retail broker. It's a good investment class, but it doesn't move as quickly as multifamily. And that's okay for some people. People just like that stable tenant profile. But for us, to have to wait this long to get a tenant that we wanted in there, that met our requirements, that wasn't very fun. So we've got 2 tenants that are moving in. We've got city plans submitted, and I'm waiting for a call back from our architect to see when we should get those approved. Should be any week now. Get the plans approved for the interior work on the units on the space. Not a ton of work, just actually really basic stuff that has to be done. Because we already had a lot of stuff was already there. But next milestone is getting the approval of the plans, which are in the hands of the city, and then the county has to sign off on something. But everything else is fine because the building was already constructed and approved.
So I have 2 questions following up to that. What's the square footage of that space? Ballpark.
I think it's around 2,200 square feet.
And then we have 2 tenants coming in. So is there a split in the unit, or is it one big?
There is. There's going to be 2, but they kind of complement each other. So not to let the cat out of the bag too much, but one of them is a kind of trendy, high-end men's barbershop.
Okay.
And music blasting, murals on the wall.
Sweet.
You go in there and there are guys that still get haircuts every week, and you go in there and you get a haircut, and they run, and it's kind of a really fun environment. And then next door, don't get concerned, it's a very high-end tattoo artist.
Have you made an appointment?
I am not doing that.
Neighborhood Ventures.
Yeah, right across the front of my head.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, he's a celebrity tattoo artist that's really well known. Wanted to be in that location.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like an Apple store in there, the way that he wants to design. It's not going to be kind of, like what do you expect from a tattoo shop? Kind of a little bit dark and kind of weird. No, it's going to feel like an Apple store in there. Very white, bright, very clean. He's excited. He's got a big following. He has, like I said, celebrities and sports personalities that are all go to him for their tattoos.
I think some of our investors in this project are going to definitely want to go check out the space, get their haircuts, and then potentially get a tattoo there. Probably a long wait list to get the tattoo. Yeah. A shorter wait list for the haircut.
Yeah.
Great. Now, those are the good things with Broadway. I think our investors will be happy with that update. But I want to talk about the next property, a recent acquisition we had in January of 2025, venture on Colter. So upon this acquisition, it was 72% occupied. Heather, I'm going to let you take it away here. Where is it at now in terms of occupancy? How are lease renewals going? What's that look like?
Well, so end of, I think we're at 82%.
Okay.
So we have been leasing really quickly. We have a really wonderful property manager there, Natalie, who's very smart, very with it, very engaged. I think we had 10 renewals. So she's really big on tenant retention. She, I'll tell you, for Easter, did an Easter egg hunt on the property for the tenants, and one of them found kind of the golden egg where they got a little bit of a discount on their rent that month, and it was really successful. And the gentleman who won the golden egg found it, actually ended up referring a friend of his who signed a lease, and so that's what we're looking for. We want people to really feel excited about living there. So we've had lot of interest, and we're able to raise the rent significantly, to bring them closer up to market rent, bring the utilities up, because it's all inclusive, all the utilities, and we're getting a lot of good response. And it's because she's so proactive, going out through Zillow, through Facebook Marketplace, she's gone out into the community and met the different businesses, and so that's been really helpful.
Yeah, that was kind of the question when I did a tour recently with some investors at Colter, and they were asking her, how are you obtaining new tenants? And she talked about Zillow, Facebook Marketplace. She's like going out in the community, meeting people. And
she made flyers and went to all the businesses, and so we are.
And word will get out. If we keep running our properties well, and I'll point out another couple of things. We have Rigo now on the property, and Rigo is one of our head of construction. We actually put him on the property, he wanted to do that. Yep. And there's a couple reasons why we did that. One of them was we wanted to have our own guys on the property and not hire someone out new. We wanted to have somebody we knew. Second thing was we wanted to get Rigo really trained on running a larger property, master meter property, so he understands everything soup to nuts on how that works. And then the third thing is our customer service. He's really good at stuff. So we've been told he's gotten, just this week again, we got another amazing email or text from someone saying, your maintenance team's amazing and they do great work, and they're through that we're taking the property up a little bit.
And I don't want to butcher the statistic here, but I do know we did a podcast a handful of months ago where we talked about one of the number one things for tenant retention was how communicative and quick maintenance was.
Yeah, it's a huge that is one of the biggest indicators, and we have the most excellent maintenance team. Our guys take a lot of pride in their work, and they're quick, and they listen to people and they get it taken care of.
Right, and we support them 100% too. And the thing about that property also that we're going to start to do when we took it over, it was a failed asset. There's a little bit of hair on the deal where the lender probably didn't communicate correctly to us what the occupancy was. And we found out we had more vacancies than we thought on the property. Heather discovered it going through the rent roll. Some things weren't matching up. Rather than getting upset, we wanted to make sure we closed it. And because our general consensus was, great, I'd rather get more people out and put our own tenants in there that are better and screen them better than what the bank was putting in there. And I agree with that. So we had a little bit of a hole to dig ourselves out of at 72%. Now we're up to 82%. I suspect with a little of the attrition, a little bit of move out, turnover, things that are going on, we'll probably, we gain 2, we lose 1.
I think we'll have a similar jump as we look at the end of this month. We're going to have a similar jump.
And we'll end up, so my guess is we'll probably be, by the end of the summer, we'll be stabilized at a 95% plus occupancy. And then we're going to try to also do some upgrades to the units. Not every one, but one of the things, the property was renovated, but they didn't redo the kitchens. And they're very small, and it's very inexpensive. And there's some quirky things like in the way the kitchens are set up. So
there's a funny little wall that we could just blow down.
Well, and there's a bathroom sink in one side of the kitchen cabinet, and then a kitchen sink and the same countertop. And you go, that's weird. But anyway, Rigo and I talked about it. We're going to take a few units at a time and update the kitchens. And it's, again, not a lot of cabinets, a lot of countertop, not a lot of work. I think to redo the whole kitchen, I think we're talking about less than $1,000 because there's really not much to it. But we do that, and now we've got an upgraded unit.
And we can get a good return.
Correct. Correct, yeah.
So really the two things for moving forward is, one, we got to get occupancy over 90%. 95% obviously is that goal.
Easy.
And the second thing is we're going to make some updates to the interiors of a handful of units on the property.
Right.
Is there anything else in terms of path moving forward that we want to do on this property?
Not really.
I'll tell you, we really do benefit from being neighbors of GCU. The property itself stays clean. It stays beautiful. We have benefit from their security, from them keeping the area clean.
The guy on the bicycle with the garbage can and picking up garbage everywhere from that. Where's the GCU uniform? I'm like, yes, please keep coming down the street.
Good neighbors.
Yeah.
One of our investors, when we did that tour, he was walking. He's like, being this close to I-17 and GCU, I cannot believe how quiet this property is.
Quiet. It's amazing. You go stand on that property, you cannot hear the 17.
Yeah. Well, no, but this freeway systems now are designed so much better with those walls. Sound goes up, not out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I want to talk about the most latest acquisition we've had. It's our biggest capital raise, Venture on 52nd. So we closed on Venture on 52nd in mid-March. So in the first month, It's only been a handful of weeks that we've owned it. What have we learned about this property? Can we give an update on CapEx?
We had identified some things we want to do to the property, some things that needed to be fixed that no one had attended to, and some things we thought would add value. We put in a new sliding glass door and new windows in one unit that faces Thomas, and it was funny how Danny slacked me and goes, "You will not believe how much quieter this is. Why didn't someone do this before?
Yeah.
How come no one else thought about it?" I'm like, I don't know. Like this is, so I don't know how many of those we've done because we've got tenants in the other units.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, we've now in full swing of putting the patios in on the downstairs units.
Yeah.
And we have one corner unit that's a smaller unit. It feels small. It felt dark. And now that we ended up putting the patio and putting a full-size sliding glass door in, and the other answer on that is, oh my gosh, it's a really nice unit now.
Yeah, it's light.
Light and bright, and they have a little
rental.
patio. And they aren't separated patios. They're just enough, it's semi-private, just enough privacy where you can be out there but not staring at your neighbor. Yeah. But it's not shut off where you can just pile stuff out there. That was my objective.
Yeah.
And it's a gift to be able to find a unit that gives you some outdoor space or a little bit of privacy. That's a hot commodity. People are looking for that. And so I'm excited that we have units we can offer that.
And with that, higher rent.
Higher rent.
Yep.
So we're right.
And they'll happily pay it. They see the value in it just like we do.
So for our renovation timeline, do we have an idea of how long these improvements will take on the property?
Well, it's not. And I wouldn't use the word renovation because there's no. Yeah. It's basically just upgrades to a couple of units.
Yep.
Danny and his crew and a couple of our outside contractors are very busy on those patios, and they're moving pretty quickly. I don't know the time frame. I'd say because we have to work around tenants that live there.
Yeah.
And people have pets and dogs, and
I think we're trying to do at least one a month. And
well, that was our hope to do at least one.
Yeah.
I think we're going to end up getting them all done in the next 60 days.
Very possible.
Yeah, because Danny's been working so well, and people they want these, so it's not like, oh man, are you guys done yet? Yeah. And our guys are quick. Now that we got the first couple of them done, they can get in and out, do all the saw cutting that they do of the block, and fit the windows, take out the window, put the door in, and everything happens really quickly. So I think it's going to be 60 days. We're done with that. We're also going to add. We were going to add 4 dumpster surrounds around the property to kind of spread out the dumpsters, and we came up with a better plan. Katie met with our new garbage company, and they said, "Tell you what, why don't we just do 2 dumpster surrounds, but we use the bigger dumpsters?" And we went, "Brilliant, let's do that."
Makes more sense.
So we spend less money on it. They're both going to be well located, and we don't take up any more of our. We don't lose parking spots or anything else. Yep.
So last question is, how's property management running for this property? Any challenges improving tenant satisfaction or retention?
No, so this one, it's over 95% rented, and we were able to bring the rents up because they were renting it quite low. They were just trying to, for a little while, just fill units. We've brought the rents up. We're renting pretty quickly. Renewals, people are very happy to renew. And one of the biggest reasons is they've been really happy with our new management there and with our maintenance team. Yeah. They right away saw a difference. We have Katie on that property who is incredibly attentive to her residents. She takes a lot of pride in that property. And so they want to stay where she's at. And they feel confident with her as a manager. And then we have Danny and his crew over on that one. And things are getting done. Yeah. And in a really kind, quick way. And so. Yeah.
We also did spend a little bit of money on one other thing we talked about, rebuilding the cooling tower. And that's already done. Yeah. And we had to also our insurance company wanted us to upgrade to replace the panels. So full disclosure, all the electrical panels in the units were all done. The insurance inspector came out, which they do nowadays when they renew the insurance, found one of the main panels in the chiller in the mechanical room behind something that no one knew was there, obviously. That was an old kind of panel that they don't want. So we're getting that replaced. And that we're doing that. We've got our own electrician in-house. So great. Very effective in pricing. And then the insurance company's very happy.
Awesome. The last 2 deals we purchased were purchase distress, Colter and 52nd. So I'm pivoting away from property updates, but I just want to talk about acquisitions for the rest of the year. Sure. Is there a robust pipeline of distressed assets that we're looking at? Do we think we're going to be able to acquire 1 more, 3 more, 5 more? What's that look like?
Because I'm ready for them.
So there's not a day that goes by that we're not getting something put in front of us. Yeah. we passed on a deal in Mesa. I won't go into the details of it. We really liked it, but it just, because of the way that things were being done, we just passed on that. We looked at another bigger property, kind of like 35th Avenue area, that somebody had in contract that we thought we could just jump in and take over. We passed on that. A lot of different reasons on that also. And then, but there are a couple other things. Right now, we are looking at buying the note on a property that's in foreclosure. So we would buy the note from the note holder and follow the foreclosure through and own the property. I think I got to talk to Jameson about that today a little bit, but I like it. It's a good deal. And full disclosure on this also, the owner of the property has basically gone dark. So the reason why they're foreclosing is the mortgage is due, but the owner just stopped communicating months ago.
Oh.
So it's not I wouldn't do that. I don't feel very comfortable being that guy coming in, taking over a note and foreclosing.
Yeah.
But in this situation, they're literally like, whatever. Just take it. Yep.
No, I think it's important to ask. You know, our investors on a daily basis are asking me, are we going to buy more assets? How many deals do we have in the pipeline right now?
We're gonna buy more assets this year for sure.
So it's
and if they're like 52nd and Colter, bring them on.
Yeah.
We've got a really good team. We've got people lined up that we'd like to come put in place at these new properties. Like we're getting real good at that transition, and give me more properties like that.
Yeah, I feel very confident in that. So I think, I don't want to say we're going to buy 10 or 15 properties, but I think it's going to be a good year for us.
Right.
We're going to acquire quite a bit of stuff. We're just being very selective, and we're trying to be smart about stuff. So, we want to buy great deals that on properties that are not cannibalized and have some big systemic issue with it. And I know those properties and know what's going on. And we want to be, and because we can move fast, we have a great reputation with lenders because of what we've already bought.
Yep.
We're getting shown things, and we're going to be able to move faster than most people. So, I fully anticipate being able to make these things move pretty quickly.